Okay, this is one of them time-sensitive videos. Jennifer Decker that interviewed me. Okay, this is Andy Graham of the Ask Andy Show. I've been to 16 plus countries. I'm a non-stop world traveler. I never stayed in one hotel longer than 3 months. I never stayed in one place longer than 3 months. Okay, I never live in the same place longer than 3 months. I constantly have that highest stress you could possibly have, moving, okay? One of the highest stress. I think divorce is probably higher, or losing your job. Okay, maybe I am losing my job right now. Google's really kicking my butt. I mean, it's not really Google, it's probably Facebook is kicking my butt. Everybody's on Facebook. Okay, I don't really care. Okay, Jennifer Decker interviewed me about, she keeps calling me a hobo. I don't realize she's kind of calling me a hobo is an insult. Okay, because they're not saying it in the true sense of a hobo that went and looked for a job. They're using it as a bum, and I'm not a bum. And it's really sort of sad. But she asked a very good question. She wanted to know what one thing has changed about you. Mom, did you get the answer to that? Okay. I asked my mom to tell me. What one thing changed about me since I've been traveling?
You're more tolerant of other cultures.
Mainly American culture?
No, you weren't tolerant of them at all.
Okay, my mom says the one thing that's changed about me in the last 16 years of traveler is I'm more tolerant of other cultures. I mean, she never seen me before with another culture, so it's really knowing something that's not possible, right? I have become more tolerant of, she says I'm not as tolerant of American culture. And I really am very tolerant of American culture, and I'm very tolerant of things. She just doesn't like the fact that I say my opinion. People don't like your opinion. If you say your opinion, that means you're intolerant. So that's how the U.S. culture gets you. Okay, to me, when Jennifer asked me this question, I answered, I know the world is petty. I have no time for petty anymore. And this is where I accept that the world is petty. That means that they're going to talk about what we're going to eat. We're going to talk about the weather. We're going to talk about, you know, just small things. When I listen to people, they suddenly start going into this 10-minute conversation on the trip they took, and it's always, I just listen, and it's just normal people, and I know that that's just whatever is happening in their life today is the most important thing on life. And the actual idea that we're going to talk about ideas and how the world can change and all this stuff isn't going to happen. We're going to talk about very, very petty things, and but now I realize they just don't matter. And, you know, really I encourage them anymore, because that is what makes people happy, is basically how they, you know, go uptown, or how they do just small little things at work, how they're having a fight with their you know, worker at work, and all these little things, right? And the idea that I could actually talk about, I don't know, something that's not petty, like in Africa they use wood for firewood, and they're cutting down all the trees in West Africa and most of Africa, and they're just slowly, it's hard to say who's winning, whether the trees are winning or the people, because it looks like, especially in the cities, they just cut down all the trees and boom, 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 because they use them for firewood to cook with. And it's pretty scary, because it's deforestation, and it's making every place. But you know, and then you go along the roads, and so this is a big issue. This is a world changer. I mean, when you start cutting down all the trees on the planet, that's a world changer. But that's not what people want to talk about. They want to talk about specific, like my iPhone works, or how to text message, right? Okay, but one thing that's changed is I accept that the world is petty, and that they're more about fashion, cell phones, shirts, what they're going to wear today, and how their hair is cut, and music, right? Anything new, trendy, blah blah blah. And really, they really don't care about how they make money, and they think they do, but they don't. They really care about just some small things that they're doing in the day. what I've learned, and I wanted to put this in this, is that what I've learned is that I never knew the United States until I was outside the United States for 6 months. President Kennedy lived outside the United States for over 6 months. There's only about 4 or 5 presidents on the planet in the United States that have ever lived outside the United States. But when you live outside the United States for over 6 months, whether it's in the military or even that, you start to look at the United States, but better outside the military, because that's still kind of inside the United States. But once you live outside the United States, you now know your country, because the contrast teaches you. I've lived outside the United States for 16 years, and America is obvious. It's become simple to see what it is. I learned about me when I went to places where nobody knew me. Okay, when I go into a city and nobody knows me, I learn about Andy without the editing. Because when I'm with one of my friends, like tonight, I'm going to go to see my friends in Fort Wayne. I can't escape their vision of me. Their stereotype label of me is all they can see, and they don't see that I've changed in 16 years. They want me to fit into the way I was before I left, and it's very difficult to think. But because I left, when they suddenly define me who I am, is kind of humorous. I don't stop them, because you really can't change people. But I'm now defined. When I left and I go into another people, what people see me, their first impression of me is who I am. And I get all these first impressions. Every time I go into a new village, I get a person giving me their first impression of me. And that is who I really am without the history behind me. And that is who I am today. And that's one of the biggest things I really, really love that about travel, is I can just find. I go into a new village, and the faces and the smiles and the voice and the way they treat me. And sadly, normally I'm just a dollar sign that's from America, right? And they look at how suddenly I'm always a very rich person in most countries, because I'm from America, and I'm just the richest person they ever met. And that's annoying. I mean, you don't want to be a rich person. That's really they want your money. But then when people, they also have their fantasies and dreams and illusions about life. But I like to know myself, okay? And this is what travel does. It takes away all the delusions. I mean, because all my friends could tell me who I am. And I mean, my mother keeps telling me I'm not getting fat. And I'm always getting fat. It's a constant fight. But the delusions we live by are removed by travel.
We can pack up tomorrow.